Hello and welcome to the RWBY podcast. We are talking about RWBY Chibi Season 3. I am your host. 65 million years in the making, Mediocrity 4.
It is I, your trusty moderator. Make sure to get on to the train. It's about to leave the station. You better have some tickets or I'll throw you out.
I am afloat in a sea of disappointment that is not only RWBY Volume 5, but also RWBY Chibi Volume 3. I am dude, what the heck.
RWBY Chibi Season 3. Filled to the brim with crazy, zany, and dare I say loony adventures? No, not really. My sockatash was suffering.
That's good.
I knew it was coming.
That's good. That's a good suck.
And I am the bacon in the fridge for those who cry out in hunger. I am Robert. And now we're gonna get
time.
my
Robert,
two
why
first
would you do
start.
this to me?
Oh,
I
I'm
know.
so tempted just to
Eat
start making
breakfast.
breakfast while we're doing this podcast. It's not even funny.
Why
What
not
do you think
it?
I was doing?
I've done it. Yeah, exactly.
Monsters.
I've done it. I'm probably gonna start peeling an orange right now. Boy.
I mean,
Oh,
I
that
have
sounds
video
good right now.
footage of me just stuffing my face with Reese's Puffs in the middle of a podcast.
Oh, man.
Well, so we had like an RTX and we had a Genlock trailer that came up. We ain't gonna talk about that now though. But a trailer
Whose mic
happened.
is going crazy right now.
I think that's Robert.
Oh shoot, do I need to
Yeah,
Yeah.
your mic's kind of...
You might need to use the push to talk friend.
Yeah.
Alright then.
What you
okay.
do it?
So we got a poster for Volume 6. It's Cinder there by the Grim in Salem, and Weiss is looking like she's checking Oscar out, which I hate.
I hate that Oscar's even in that poster.
Yeah, I was gonna say...
I
because-
hate that he gets center billing along with Ozpin.
I hate that both of them are there. I mean, I think if anybody has watched this podcast at all, they know exactly how I feel about Ozpin and Oscar and Blake, for that matter. But
Pretty sure we could have a drink.
I-
We can make a drinking
I would-
game out of every time you talk about how you were right about him.
I
Yep.
would rather
because I was right about him.
I would rather Rose Garden happen than Weiss get shipped with Oscar. That's
agree
how
with that.
bad.
I
Why would
agree
you
with
say
that.
something
No,
controversial? So
here's
brave?
the thing. As much as I hate that, I agree with that. That is even worse because Weiss is at least a good character right now.
And she deserves also the best main character, which is John.
True. I mean,
Yeah.
she don't. Well, again, he's not the best main character. I knew that was a joke, but I would still prefer that or anything to whatever that ship would possibly be. Oh, I'm sure there's already a name for it because the fandoms, that's what they do.
Stupid.
Give
Well,
me Dragon
the
Slayer. Give me Dragon
dumbest
Slayer
the
over
dumbest
anything.
thing to come out of this poster was something I thought we were done with. The Summer
is it
Rose
summer?
theories.
People thinking that Summer Rose is alive.
People
At the
don't
end of
think
Volume 1,
that
at the end of Volume 1, people thought Cinder was Summer Rose. At the end of Volume 2, people thought that Raven Bronwyn was Summer Rose. At the end of Volume 3, and people still think this, Salem was Summer Rose. Volume 4 didn't have anything like that. Neither did Volume 5, to its credit. But then Volume 6
almost
runs
made it.
around, and before it even starts, it's like, hey, here's this shadowy female figure that is totally Cinder, but people are still going to think it's Summer Rose anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Newsflash, guys. It's October. Summer's over. No.
Not for us Texans.
Yeah.
And that's bad enough, obviously, but that's not that surprising because you know that fandoms, and not just the RWBY fan, I'm not just any fandom has dumb theories and stuff like this. I was part of the Avatar fandom, there's always going to be silly theories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it actually was rampant in the Avatar fandom because the show was so good, there was nothing to complain about. All you did was come up with theories and write fan fiction because there was no need to criticize the show.
Like, what was the dumbest theory in that fandom?
Because I wasn't part of that one.
Oh, Zutara. Zutara was definitely the dumbest theory in that show. And I will call it a theory because some people actually thought it was legitimate. And shipping is part of theorizing. So
I feel
in my
Yeah,
opinion,
no, they've officially stated that it was never, ever, ever even a thought, never, ever,
Yeah.
ever even going to be a thing at all. They were like,
Yeah.
no, this would not work with their characters. It's never going to happen.
I
feel
didn't
it's
understand it. And I loved Zuko. He's honestly, in my opinion, I've said this before, he's one of the greatest written characters in all of television history, and I will fight anybody on that. He's one of the best fictional characters, period. That includes great books. He's that good.
Yeah.
But there's no reason that would ever make sense, ever. Doesn't. You can see the way it's written the whole time. It's like it's just dumb. That's why that, to me, that is the dumbest theory of the Avatar fandom ever, is the fact that Zutara was even considered by anybody.
Yeah. I might make a video on this sometime, but I think it's I think part of the reason why Zutara was so popular is kind of for the same reason that and I know that yeah. Bear with me on this one here, Sock, but I think it's at least part of why people to this day still ship Sakura with Naruto. It's not necessarily because like Naruto and Hinata is a bad ship. It's not necessarily because Katara and Aang is a bad ship. It's partly like in the case of the Naruto fandom, I'd say it's because Sasuke is just kind of the worst when it comes to being a husband to Sakura. And in the case of like the Avatar fandom, she's not as bad as Sasuke, but Mei's kind of boring in terms of like romantic love interest for Zuko.
Oh
like,
yeah,
people
she's
kind
terrible.
of want her to have better.
He doesn't end up with her in the end. So
yeah, in the comics they break up and stuff
end,
like that. And
yeah,
like,
his daughter who ends up being
Suki, which I would totally be on board with. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the biggest difference with that though, Robert, is that at least because correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't really watch Naruto, is that they did actually have like romantic interest between. Wasn't Naruto romantically interested in Sakura?
That is true,
initially. Initially, that's the big thing. Is Naruto was interested in Sakura like right off the bat.
Okay.
But I do,
but like more like puppy love, like, and he was just had this obsession. I don't think Naruto.
And it was more because she liked Sasuke, and he just wanted to get one over on Sasuke.
Naruto the Last pretty much addressed that perfectly, and it was great. But you are right, like they did have their moments and stuff like that, and so like there's definitely more ground to ship like Naruto with Sakura than there is to ship Katara with Zuko and stuff like that. Yeah. But like I do think that's part of it, is just that people aren't happy with who they actually end up with.
And that makes sense. I can slightly understand that better, but the thing is, that wasn't the initial reason why people shipped Zutara, though. That's the thing.
That's
I
fair.
I can understand that being it more at the end, that being the reason. But but let's go back to the poster and
sorry about that.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that people obviously just always have dumb theories on stuff, and hey, again, if it's not Cinder, I will happily eat my words, but I'm pretty confident that's fucking Cinder. But let's go to the worst part again of this poster, which is the fact that Oscar and Ozpin are in the center of the poster, meaning that they're very important and they're getting center billing on this poster.
Again.
Why in the world do they? Because here's the thing: people always like to say this happens all the time. This happened last time too. Every time, like in between volumes, people think the writers are learning from their mistakes. They always think that's happening. And even this time, they did say something pretty smart at one of the things that Vex Viewer posted on his Twitter, which was,
I guess they're learning TM.
Do they actually know that Volume 5 was garbage when they talked about how, maybe we're going to actually, have our characters do something and be in a different place every time and not sit in a hotel room for an entire volume. Yeah, that's great. That's nice. That's good. That is a lot from this volume, but that is encouraging to a degree. However, you still put Ozpin and Oscar. The reason the character sat in the middle of a fucking hotel room for an entire volume in the center of your next poster. And I understand that some people like Oscar, but let's be honest.
They're wrong.
They're they're absolutely 100% incorrect. And two, most people still don't like him. As far as I can tell. Like, most of the fandom is either doesn't really care about him at all, or they don't like him. From what I can tell. Most people don't seem to actually like him right now. It's like Blake. I wasn't sure, like, some people do like Blake, but let's be honest, most people still hate Blake. She's the least popular character in the show right now. And Oscar's probably, in terms not in terms of villains, if you're talking about in terms of protagonists, Oscar's probably number 2. Why don't you guys understand this? I don't, because here's the thing, as we've said, it's too late. He can't be saved. His character's dead. He can't be made into a good character. Why do they think he should be the focus of anything right now?
Yeah.
That's what's extremely frustrating. And again, in some ways it makes me sad because it means this volume is still going to be terrible, but hopefully on the plus side, it's going to be really fun to rip into this volume. It's the only thing I can think of as a positive, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought it was nice that they showed a Grim.
It actually has a Grim.
He takes center stage.
At least there's a Grim, yes.
Is this the first time a Grim has been on the poster?
I think.
I'll check.
Yes.
I'll check.
So it might have been.
I know it wasn't in Volume 1 or 2 because Volume 1 was just the 4 characters. Volume 2 was RWBY with the reflection of Cinder, Emerald, and Mercury and her scythe. Volume 3 was Team RWBY and like Amity Coliseum. Volume 4, Volume 4 had Team Ranger and then Blake, Yang, and Weiss at the top, and then Volume 5, which I thought did have a Grim, but I guess not because Volume 5 didn't have a Grim outside of that one episode.
Although it did have the one time that a Grim's actually killed someone.
Yep. Yeah, Volume 5 didn't have it either, so you're right. Volume 6 is the first one with a Grim in the poster.
Yeah. Humanity's greatest threat. The entire reason why they have to go to school for 4 years, despite being stronger than any Grim the minute that they step in the door.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take it. If that's an improvement, if they do actually make the Grim a bigger threat, at least they're improving something. If I will give them
It's like what I always say. This volume needs a bunch of people just fucking dying to the Grim.
I'll be happy about that.
Yeah.
I might eat my words later if a character I like dies, but you know what? The Grim are my favorite part of the show. They're the most aesthetically pleasing to me. So it's just like I need to see more. I need to see my Nevermores. I need to see my wacky inflatable or tube Grim. I need to see them all.
No, I mean, as a concept, it's brilliant. It's one of the more clever concepts of the show. So yeah, it would be nice to have them actually matter in the show again. You know, so we don't have to do the thing
especially since the entire
second half of last volume, which is when every time I take a drink every time I realize that the Grim were in the show.
It was like that near the finale. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, that happened a couple times. Somebody mentioned Grim. I was like, oh shit, I just remember the Grim were in the show.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a joke. Like, I really forgot that they existed, to be honest.
Volume 5, yeah.
Yeah. But hey, again, if they put that in it's hopefully an improvement. Hopefully it means they'll actually be there. I'm not 100% sure, but if they are, that would be great. And I will give them the credit
we know that they have the Manticore. And we know that we'll talk about this next week because next week we're not going to have as much to talk about with the soundtrack. But we did get a tease of the first episode at New York Comic Con. I haven't seen it. I don't think anyone here has actually seen it, but we've seen the Reddit post describing it.
Oh yeah. We should just go over that. It's basically.
I was saying we were gonna do that next week.
Yeah. Oh, we do it next week because it's spoilery. Let's give it more time.
No, because I mean, all we would do is just
read off.
Just read off the Reddit post, which they can just find on their own. There's not really much to talk about until we get like. I think it's more relevant with like the soundtrack. Anyway, so
we'll spoil it and lap up the tears of the Bumblebee shippers.
Yes. Okay, so getting into Chibi
Just the salty
season,
one, so.
getting into Chibi season 3. What happened?
Oh my god. Yeah, this was
It was kinda boring.
embarrassing.
I got old, I guess. I don't know.
There was
What?
a few skits that gave me a good chuckle, mainly the dream ones. But outside of that, like it was and then the
Clutches of Evil. The Clutches of Evil one was
and
kinda
Mortal Frenemies, but that's because I'm a
There's
big
there's
smoker.
there's a couple really funny ones here, and I don't think there was any that I outright hated, like the "and nothing bad ever happened" from season 1 that made me cringe. Like there was nothing like that, but you can tell that the heart just wasn't in it this season.
Yeah.
I usually like laugh like pretty much like a good 5 episodes or something like that. I barely cracked a smirk on pretty much 95% of this. Like
Yeah,
Barely
I
a
don't
sensible
I don't
chuckle.
think
the thing is that made me smirk wasn't even the main joke. It would be like noticing Mercury's sock puppet of Cinder that he slept with. That made me smirk.
Yeah.
But the entire joke did not.
Yeah, the actual joke was not funny, and the worst part about it is they didn't even give it a punchline. So he does all this incredibly cringy shit, and they're right next to him, and that was like almost kind of funny. And I thought they were going to do something with it, and then they just ignore him and walk away. It's like,
Yeah.
what? What? You didn't do anything? Is it supposed to
Except for
just
burn
be
the
funny
sock puppet.
that he's being cringy? Like, no, cringiness is not funny. You have to do something with that joke.
I mean, the one that like legit.
Yeah,
like,
there
maybe,
were-
like, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there were a lot less punchlines in this season.
Yeah.
A lot more just gag humor and random nonsense and zaniness and just throwing things at the screen and seeing what sticks.
I almost get I don't know. Part of me wonders, like the writer, Chibi, were all like, "Hey, let's see if we can make Miles and Carrie realize some of the mistakes they've made making the canon show by poking fun at them." But then that clearly didn't work with Volume 5, so they're like, "Yeah, no, never mind. Let's just do stuff."
So before we get into the actual like skits themselves,
Probably not.
Can we talk a minute about just how hacked to the freaking bone this season was?
Barely any episodes.
16 episodes, 33 skits in total.
On the average of 2 to 3 skits an episode.
No, 2 skits per episode, with one episode having 3. Only one episode had 3 skits.
Yeesh.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah,
do
they
we
definitely run out of
know what the deal was with that.
And I don't have a source for this, but I had heard that there was going to be 8 other episodes that just don't exist. That they just didn't bother.
They couldn't come up with
finishing,
16 more jokes.
That they just didn't know. They like had them planned out and stuff. Because I mean, this stuff, even something on this level, it takes a while. But okay, so we had the first 8 episodes, and they were better. The first 8 episodes were better than the second 8 episodes.
Yes, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
And then they put it on hiatus for like no apparent reason. And the reasoning that they gave was so that it will end right as volume 6 is about to begin.
But it didn't.
And then at that same time, that was when Nomad of Nowhere started. So Nomad of Nowhere kind of like took over its spot. And then the first half of Nomad ended, and Chibi Season 3 came back for the second block, 8 more episodes. And then it went on break again, and Nomad of Nowhere came back again and finished up its first season. And then no more Chibi. It just poof. We didn't even get the finale. You know how like Chibi always ends with like a fourth wall breaking finale where they're like, "Thank you, and we'll see you next season," and it's been so much fun. We didn't get that. It ended with the RWBY Dream episode, which I guess was a bit of a fourth wall break with having
Yeah,
Well, don't we have some amazing power?
No, that was a couple episodes earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and RWBY even says like, season finale, can't do it yet. And then so is that like talking about the Volume 3 finale when she used it? Is it a hint at what's going to happen in Volume 6?
I
Or
hope.
was there 8 other episodes that was going to make this a full block, a full season of Chibi, instead of half a season's worth of Chibi, and the season finale, the original season finale, was going to have a gag with the silver eyes, and it's just something that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
It
I
was
don't.
cut because it was spoilers.
Pretty much.
Do we
Yeah.
know like why they would cut all of those just to like go around things like Nomad of Nowhere? I don't understand that. Like if they're already pretty much were they already made pretty much? Like that's the thing. If they were, why didn't
I
you
don't
release
I don't know. I don't have an
Yeah.
inside source at Rooster Teeth. I wish
Yeah,
I
I don't
did.
either. Yeah.
Maybe we can sneak Floof Artist into there eventually.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure they probably have like a thing against him at this moment.
Well, they don't
I
have to
would
know
not-
it's him.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if they have a blacklist.
I'm not Max Lampy. I'm Matt Flampy.
Seems legit.
That's perfect. Sounds just like Malik Blishtar. They'll never know.
No, I think we're better off trying to sneak like Brandon K19 in there.
Yeah, probably. Let's be
Oh,
honest.
Or who are some of the other like Ballsy, but he's in Australia, so.
He's us. Yeah, he's.
We could sneak Lily in there.
Yeah, we can use Lily.
Does she do animation? I know she does art.
Her art's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe one day we'll have an inside source at Rooster Teeth to feed us this information, but I do want to know what was going on under the hood with this season, because again, like, it wasn't super cringy. Like, I didn't roll my eyes a lot. It was just dead.
No, you're right.
It was just dead
I think-
inside.
I didn't think much of it was cringy either. Okay, some of it was like Cinder driving the car and picking people up. That was cringy.
I
to me,
like
but-
how Cinder's a sexual predator. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, the idea that's kind of funny, but I actually I think so. But I don't. That was kind of cringy, but no, you're right. But the thing is, to me, that's a bad thing because it proves that they didn't really try with this this season of Chibi, because in the past 2 seasons there were always jokes in both that were like really cringy that I really didn't like, and there were ones that were just absolutely fucking hilarious. In this, there's
Because they were
neither
trying.
really.
How they
The
were
cri-
trying and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
this was just fine. Like I'll
Sometimes
take
that's
something
kinda
that I
fun,
don't
right?
like in order to get some that I really love. That's great. I will happily take that. Whereas this one, the cringiest thing was Mercury sock puppet thing, which could have been actually hilarious. It wasn't even that cringy. They just didn't do anything with it. So it didn't even make it as cringy as they could have. They didn't even try that hard with that joke. So yeah. So maybe it's just
Another symptom I noticed when I rewatched the episodes last week, and took like some notes on them. There's only 3 skits out of 33. Only 3 of them that aren't exclusively written by Tom Alvarado.
really.
Yeah. So Tom Alvarado, like, he wrote like a couple skits in season 1, and he did most of the skits in season 2. But even then, it was like he'd do 1 skit per episode for season 2, and he'd have like other people filling in. Like Eddie Rivera wrote a skit in season 2. Miles and Carey wrote a couple. I think Gray wrote some. They even had people like I think they had like Mika Burton or like Issa, or even like Michael Jones writing one at one point. Just giving more flavor, giving more like diversity within the humor. Whereas this, it's all Tom Alvarado except for 3 skits.
And so they probably just burned him
And-
out, and he was just
and
like, and at the end,
one
he
of
was just
them,
like,
one of them isn't even really a comedy skit, and the other 2 are 2 of my favorite bits in this season.
Really. And who
Uh,
wrote
well-
those?
Okay, so you had
We're good.
Punish.
We're
You had
good.
You had Punished from episode 4, which was the pun PSA. That was written by Miles and Zane. And then you had Fireflies in episode 8, which was written by Tom Alvardo's daughter, Amelie Alvardo. And that's not even a comedy sketch. There's no joke. There's no punchline. It's just cute.
Oh, they're best friends.
And then Crow from episode 12, which was the point where I'm like, because that skit was written by Carrie, the main writer of the actual show, and so I'm like, is he taking the piss?
I thought
because
that was
because
one of
Oz,
the funny ones.
It was. That was probably my favorite skit of the entire season.
It might have been mine as well. Nefarious Dreams, I thought was that the one that was fun? I don't know, one of the dream ones was pretty fun. I forget which one.
The one with Pyrrha in the dream with the huntsman. Yeah, the huntress was good because then Pyrrha's just on cloud 9 the next day.
No, that wasn't one of the dream episodes.
That wasn't one of the dream ones.
That was in the Clutches of
That's
Evil.
the one where she realized, oh, I just have to turn myself to become Catwoman, and then
yeah,
essentially.
Yeah,
yes.
so because the Ozpin in the Crow sketch was like every Ozpin joke we've made incarnate. Like he was like an abridged version of Ozpin. Like if I were to write an abridged series for RWBY, like that's how I would characterize Ozpin. Just flippant, like, oh, you don't like the power I gave you? Then like, yeah. Switch.
The thing is that I don't understand though is, if I remember correctly, the skits from last volume, the ones I thought a lot of the ones that Tom wrote were fucking hilarious.
They were.
So what happened?
Ran out of gas.
Yeah, or did they?
But they worked him too hard. Maybe?
Did they tell him to just? What else does he write in? What else does he do for Rooster
I
Teeth?
don't know. He might do like RT Shorts or something, or be on the podcast, but I'm not sure.
That's the thing I don't understand, because he wrote really funny stuff in the last volume. What is it that made him not try in this volume at all? That's the thing I really don't understand.
Maybe like a lot of the jokes they wanted to do, like I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe a lot of the jokes they wanted to do you couldn't do because of like political correctness or something like that.
Judging by Laser Team 2, I don't think they would care about stuff like that so long as you're not painting a certain side in a positive light.
Because I'm going back. I went back to season 2. I picked one episode at random. I already found one of the skits that's funnier than, in my opinion, any skit in the volume in season 3 of Chibi, which is Neptune Noir, which I thought that one was pretty funny. That was written by Tom Alvardo by himself. So there's already one that in the previous season that's better than.
Yeah, I mean most of again, like Tom Alvardo wrote like 2/3 of season 2.
Yeah.
Which already so another symptom, the lack of new characters. Season 1, like every episode for a long time was introducing a new character to the dynamic. Like the first episode we got like RWBY, Blake, a little bit of Yang, a little bit of Weiss. Second episode we got a lot more Weiss and a lot more Yang. Third, I don't actually know that order, but I know like they slowly introduced more and more characters. They introduced Port at some point they didn't end up doing Port in season 2 or any of the teachers in season 2, but they started adding in like Team Juniper, the villains, Sun and Neptune, those people. Then season 2 they sparse it out a bit more. They added in Ozpin in the first episode. They added in Port and Oobleck and Crow and Winter and Ty in season 2. Whereas this, there's only 2 new characters, and each of them only has 2 skits.
Cardin and Klein.
Yeah, Cardin and Klein. Cardin has 2 skits, and Klein has 2 skits.
Actually, I think
they're not even. Cardin and Klein are like barely used, and Klein's energy was used up basically in the skit that he showed up in.
His main skit,
To be fair,
Which
the reason why
I get
possible
Klein.
that they could only get Klein for 2 episodes because he's
J. Michael Tatum.
Yeah. And he's busy. Yeah. But...
Yeah. I mean, he's been in a lot of other stuff. Scar from Fullmetal Alchemist, one of my favorite anime characters ever. But right now, he's mostly doing My Hero Academia because he's Ida. So he's a really prominent character in that show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Wow.
Ida. Okay.
I didn't realize
Yeah.
that. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. J. Michael
Oh my
Tatum's a
God.
freaking master.
Oh, he's amazing.
You gotta love freaking Ida.
I said that in Volume 4
I mean,
when I
I've
found
always
when
known
I
he
said
was
that in
amazing. That is-
I think one of our first podcasts in Volume 4 we were talking about Klein, and I was like, they're gonna try doing like other personalities with him, and J. Michael Tatum can pull it off because he is a master.
Yeah.
Well, you have to remember, like I watched the dub, so I mean no sub. I'm an idiot.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, J.
I watched the sub. So.
I watch both with My Hero Academia. It depends on
Yeah.
like, because sometimes I watch it like as soon as it comes out and the dub's not out yet, so I'll watch the subs, and then I'll watch it again with the dub because I watch it with friends and they don't like reading, so we watch it with the dub together. Ida's breakdown in the most recent season when they're getting ready to save Bakugo and Ida has this like little breakdown to Deku, it's better in the dub because J. Michael Tatum is better than the Japanese voice actor.
Okay,
Yeah.
well here's the counter argument. Bakugo's was better in the sub.
Chris Clopin did a fantastic job in that one of the last episodes with him versus Deku.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I went back and watched the dub as well, and they both did really good jobs. But I just felt more from the.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I could literally feel my throat tearing.
Gotcha. All right, so let's go back to.
So let's
Go episode by
let's
episode?
get let's go episode by episode. So episode 1 you
Because
had.
I was gonna say real quick because because I wanted to piggyback off something you were just talking about media, which is like the lack of character diversity. Because I thought it was really weird that like in when I was watching this through Chibi season 3, I was like, why do they have so many in the beginning where it's just like the 3 boys that they always use, and there's like a bunch of Ren but no Nora, like not even using that dynamic anymore. Like
Yeah.
they're not, they just not even,
It felt like it felt like they were
never
showing-
never before.
they barely
the-
used the characters they already had. They kept reusing the same characters.
Yeah, never before in anything RWBY related until I sat down and watched the rest of Chibi season 3. Never before had I actually wished for Coco to show up.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wasn't she supposed? Didn't they like release art of her at
She
some
should've
point?
popped out. She should have came.
I'm
Didn't
pretty
one of
sure.
the-
I
Everyone
just
begging for
realized that.
Raven
Like
to show
I
up.
think I'm pretty sure they had art of Chibi Coco because she was supposed to show up this season.
That's And to give Tom Alvarado one more piece of credit at the end, before we dive in and start ripping him to shreds, just so I can say that I do think can do a great job. One of my favorite skit from season 2, Chibi season 2, the Mystery Bunch, was written
Oh,
only by
yes.
Tom Alvarado. That was only Tom Alvarado.
That was such a
That
good
was
fucking
by
run.
far the funniest skit of Chibi season 2, possibly the funniest Chibi skit ever, in my opinion.
I died.
So, yeah, I died when Nora just said, "I have glasses." So hilarious.
You laugh just talking about it. Like,
Yeah, it's still hilarious, by the way. So, and that actually kind of goes to another thing: is Nora's not really in Chibi season 3, and she's really one of the funniest characters in Chibi. I feel like just because her personality fits in Chibi so well. Because she's got some of the funniest moments. She has my favorite moment in each season. Because in season 1, it was the thing where she's got the sign where Ren
Notice
says,
me.
if only they can see what was right in front of them, and she goes, "Yeah, if only," and she has to sign up. Notice me, Ren. And then in the second one, it's the "I have glasses" joke from the Mystery Bunch.
Yeah.
And she's not really in my opinion at least, she's the funniest part of both seasons. And she's not that much in season 3. That's another thing. And
Yeah.
again, just before we're about to start ripping Tom Alvaro to shreds. But in fairness, my all-time favorite Chibi skit was a Tom Alvarado skit. So it's not like he's not funny. All right, so now we can get into actually...
Okay, so first off we have Road Trip, where Team RWBY is going on a road trip, but they never leave Vale. and they accidentally rob a bank.
Accidentally.
And Jean and Ren almost get they get picked up by Cinder, and then Jean makes a camp reference.
Okay, the camp reference was hilarious.
I
I'm
did
not
think
gonna
that was
lie.
funny. Yeah.
Miles,
That,
I know,
but-
I know for a fact, Miles is really proud that he wrote that theme song by himself, and he's even more proud that he could actually sing it like off the top of his head right away with no problem. Like, I mean, he makes it sound like he's having no problem, but he did it at RTX the other year. It was like after it wasn't this most recent RTX. I think it was the RTX before that. Someone asked him to do the Camp theme song, and he did it, and his face just like slowly goes red because he's doing it all in one breath, but he pulled it off. So kudos to Miles for doing that, and you could really tell that he probably had a say in like, hey, we could totally do a camp reference in this.
Hey, I'll give him credit. Camp. Oh, I actually haven't watched the season of Camp yet.
I haven't either.
But I don't. And again, it's not because I don't like Camp. It's because I'm just so jaded on Rooster Teeth right now. But
I
really
don't like their website. I don't like their website right now.
I don't either. I really enjoyed Camp season 1 and 2, and I definitely will watch Camp season 3 because I really did enjoy both of the first 2 seasons of Camp.
They
And again,
have
fairness to
they have
Miles-
their Halloween special on YouTube, but I'm like, I avoided that because I don't want to. I want to watch it like after season 3, so I'm gonna probably binge Camp season 3 sometime in the next week or two before Halloween.
And in fairness to Miles, I do think that's a pretty great theme song, actually. So that was a pretty funny reference, to be honest. And that was the thing. Like I thought the seasons I was kind of excited for Chibi after watching that one because, I mean, unfortunately, that ended up being one of the funnier jokes in the season was just Miles doing his camp reference, which was funny, but that was, I think, the only really funny thing in this episode to me.
I just like how Ren's like, really? Is it that easy, John? Is it actually that easy?
Want some candy?
The
other,
like,
You go, Robert.
Sorry, I don't know. I feel like it's another one of those like running gags because, like you said, they have the whole joke of like, oh, Jean and Ren get left behind and stuff like that, and it's like, is that like, I don't know. Maybe again, it's like them taking the piss or something like that, because it's like, I don't know. After like the last time that I rewatched, every episode and stuff like that, I realized, it's not just John that gets neglected a lot. It's actually also Ren. He kind of gets, I don't know, shoved to the side in a lot of fights. He's like a major victim of the Worf effect, kind of. But I don't know.
Ren just wants to relax.
Yeah,
I guess so. See, I thought that was kind of weird. That it's like, wondering if like, was this making fun of the fact that Ren and John kind of get shoved to the side and like all basically just for like the, I don't know, the female cast essentially. But I don't know.
Yeah. Then the other skit, because this skit is long and they split it up into 2 parts, and then in between you have manly weapons with Port and Velvet.
Again, they basically just had to invent a completely new
this brings
her.
This brings me to another thing. Did they do a skit like this in season 2? Because the first half of season 3 came out so long ago. It came out like right after, like in the month or two after Volume 5 ended. That it feels like it was season 2. Like there was a lot of like when I was rewatching this and taking notes, I was like, I thought these skits were season 2 skits, but no, they're season 3 skits.
In season 2, they did a skit where like she was making a bunch of, I think she was like changing the like she was setting up a hologram of Crescent Rose and like changing its
yeah, but no, I'm talking about like the man up
like
with Port. Wasn't there a skit called Man Up with Port last season?
Yes, there
yes.
was.
Yes, there was. And
yeah,
Velvet
that's
was
what
also
I'm
in that
talking
one.
about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So it's just a rehash of the Man Up with Port, but this time focused on
Velvet.
weapons or whatever.
Or focused on Velvet making fun of him.
Yeah, which again, like, the entire thing that made season 1 and to a lesser extent season 2 so enjoyable was that they were just exaggerations of the characters we knew from the series.
Yeah.
And it goes to show that Velvet doesn't actually have a character in the series.
Yeah.
Because she's just so whatever the joke needs her to be every time she shows up.
Pretty
Velvet
much.
is the box.
So in the second
That's funny because
yeah.
I can hear really well.
Yeah, and like most things Velvet does is just make a snide comment, and that's basically it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all she does.
So the next episode we have Evil Interview, which introduces Cardin to the Chibi cast.
Did they change his voice actor? Because he sounds different.
I don't think so.
Or it's just the voice actor talking in his normal voice for all we know.
Well, I mean, Cardin hasn't had a line since Volume 2, so
That is sad.
he showed up once in Volume 3, but he didn't get any lines.
The thing about that one is
Yeah, no, he's still voiced by Adam Al.
the thing about this skit is that his like pathetic attempts at sounding evil were kind of funny, and that was the only funny part of the skit to me.
Yeah. It was just the classic, like, dude, you're just a bully. That's all
Yeah.
you are. But that's like kind of the same joke that they tell in every. They basically tell that same joke in every skit that he's in. You're not a villain.
All
You're just a bully.
two of them. I
Who's
get
third?
like was there a third Cardin skit? Because I thought there was just this one and then the
Yeah,
one where
there's
he's with
Evil
Torchwick and
Interview,
Neo.
There's the one with Crow, and there's the one with.
Oh yeah, when Crow
Roman,
punches him.
where Crow dynamic entries him.
Yeah. Well, no, dynamic entry is a kick. Anyway, so the other skit in this episode is Love Daddy, which I liked.
Okay.
I also like the
people
implications
that
that they would ship those
Okay.
characters.
Yeah, this one was funny. This
Yeah,
one actually
that was the
funny.
5% I was talking about. I actually loved
Yeah.
that one.
This one I don't know how if I like laughed that hard, but listening to them like do the stupid contradiction stuff about like what women like was hilarious, and I'm actually really surprised that Rooster Teeth as a company did this joke, but I'm glad they did because it was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Well, that's the other thing too. Also, because
I
I mean, they know that there's a portion of their audience that is like in the 20 to 30-year-old like range that have like probably tried online dating, and online dating is a special hell that no one should have to put themselves through.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that skit's pretty straightforward. It's just
I did-
Ruby and Yang trying to hook their dad up, and they end up hooking him up with Cinder.
Yeah. I did think it was kind of funny that, I don't know. Like at first I'm like, wait, what? I don't know. I felt like it was, like, I guess it's hard to say that anything's character for Cinder because Cinder doesn't have too much of a character. Well, no, that's not true. In Chibi, she kind of does have a character. But like,
I
did think it was
love
kinda funny.
the
I was just
idea
like,
that
why
Cinder
would
does. I
Cinder be
like
on
the
a-
idea. Yeah, I like the idea that Cinder's on a dating website.
That's
But I
actually
like
the
the
more
joke
weird
you
thing
just
too.
wanna
Also,
know
is
online
Cinder's.
trolling. Like I'm kind of like, why would Cinder be on a dating? Oh, online trolling. That kind of makes sense. Okay. Yeah. And
I
then, of
also-
course, Crow- yeah.
I also do like just Crow coming in and the joke of Crow, are you ever wearing pants anymore? I think that was. I actually thought that was funny. I think that was what made me what finally broke me in the skit, which was like this was actually a good skit because of that. Like there was a lot of little funny stuff, and then they had a couple of random punchlines. Like
I think
Would
she's
it
lying
be-
about her.
it was pretty funny. So that one actually, yeah, I forgot about that one. That one made me laugh.
Yeah, I think she's lying about her age. I've dated.
Yeah, I've dated worse. Yeah, that was.
I do kind of
Yeah.
want to know, like, I don't know. Never mind. Like,
How old Cinder actually is.
Well, they said she's like
Yeah.
near like
which is ironic because I figured that because normally she's probably a lot older than she pretends to be, but in this case she's probably a lot younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one was actually funny.
Yeah.
And then the next episode we have Mortal Frenemies.
This is by
Um,
far my favorite episode. Not because I'm not saying it's a good or anything.
Flirting was so much simpler back in my day.
That just felt way too on for me.
They know the
Yeah.
scope.
Like,
Oh,
they
it's
know.
just like,
You see, yeah, this to me gets a pass because I'm a Snowbird shipper and I ship
also-
this hard.
I also
Yeah.
ship Snowbird quite hard as yeah, high power to
I
death.
don't know. It was just like, it's like, okay, wow, we just took subtlety out back and shot it in the head.
Sometimes
the whole-
subtlety
Yeah,
needs
like
to
we
be
get
put
it.
the
up
We
back
gag.
and
get your
shot.
hands off.
Yeah, but that's the whole point of Chibi, though. That's why I liked it. They didn't do subtlety, and that's why it was funny.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, because Winter's advocating putting a shock collar and beatings for Crow to get him to behave.
Yeah, here's the thing about this one.
This sounds like the stuff that I watch on the internet whenever I'm not on the Discord.
Yeah, but like, yeah, exactly. And like the whole thing of like, Winter's constantly instigating it, which means like she can't keep her hands off. Because she actually likes him and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's the
even though
thing.
he's
slowly
way
bringing
older than her.
Robert into the fold. Come.
I've
Here's-
been in the fold. I've
said
said
come.
it a million times. I'm fine with Snowbird as long as they acknowledge the age difference.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
They still
fair
haven't done. But
Yeah, they still
but
haven't
so
done.
it's like,
The
so I
thing,
like that. I don't know. I feel like they didn't need that throwaway line of just like, I don't know, flirting with someone.
I thought that was
Got
funny.
the joke. We got it. We did it. You didn't need to say that. I don't know.
That's true. I'll give you that. I can give you that makes sense. The thing is, my biggest complaint with this skit is that I didn't really find the actual stuff that they did with each other funny. I just found the part with Ozpin funny.
Yeah.
So it's to get through a lot of the just like the
That is
same old,
true.
same
Like
old.
Crow just kind of being.
They didn't
a
do
tool
anything
and stuff like
clever with the way that Crow was antagonizing her. They didn't do anything clever with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Crow's just being an asshole,
It
which
was
he's
just
good
a
at.
classic, like, it was just a classic, boy on the school playground and stuff like that. Yeah, that's true.
But the scene with Ozpin with them, like actually the way they were arguing was fun.
Yeah.
The other skit in this episode is one shot, one pill.
Okay, that was good. Wait,
That
I'll
is
get
an
to...
over the
that's a little
top way
forward.
to like get your dog to take its medicine.
You know what that skit reminds me of the Mortal Frenemies is the one where it's Ty and Crow are sitting down talking to Ozpin.
Oh, yeah.
no.
It's
Actually, lifetime of a married couple.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's similar. It's hilarious.
But it's not as funny as that one. I actually think
Yeah,
the Ty
it's
and
not.
Crow one was funnier. That's the
Yeah, no,
thing.
I do think the
Yeah.
Ty and Crow one is very funny.
Yeah.
Like I don't think the thing is with that last episode, I think both the one shot one pill and the Mortal Frenemies one were pretty good, but neither of them actually made me like laugh out loud. That's the thing. Like neither of them were that funny.
Yeah.
So
One
that's,
shot, one
that's-
pill reminded me of a scene from Firefly.
It reminded me of Daredevil season 2. One shot, two shot, penny and a dime.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It reminded me of like the scene in Firefly where Yang's like, no, actually, I just wanted him to drop his guard so Ruby can take the shot. Like it reminded me of the scene in Firefly where guys like, what are you gonna do? So he's like, nah, I just wanted you to look at me so she could get behind you. And then the guy
Oh
gets
man,
punched
I
in
just
the
reminded
face.
myself that Daredevil season 3 comes out in like a week.
I'm excited.
I'm so pumped. Anyway, so the next
The villain's
episode,
bullseye.
yeah, so the next episode is Grim Passengers, which is a sequel to Road Trip.
Yeah.
God, this one was
it's
terrible.
it's the same joke, but it's the Grim, the talking Grim who have probably worn out their welcome at this point.
It's like
They
Marty and
really-
what's
I
his
was gonna
name?
say that.
It was
Boy,
a pretty
have
it was
they
a pretty
worn out their
it was a
welcome
pretty
this one.
novel and funny thing in the first time in season 2, but now the joke is
I
getting
miss
old.
the Geist Grim and how he's just being shit on by the other Grim, but he's gone. Geist Grim doesn't even show up at all.
Yep, and he was the funniest one.
It's like, yeah, it's all like you're completely ignoring what was the funniest part of that one skit.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And then the other skit in this episode was Punished, which was the pun PSA, where Yang and Tai have like a pun off, and then the lights just go dim and spotlight on Ruby as she like, do Do you or a loved one suffer from puns?
I feel like this is this felt more like a Rooster Teeth short than
Yeah, that's why I didn't think it was
This
funny
this
at all.
one
Personally.
this one overstayed. This one stopped being funny like very quickly.
Yep, it
I
wasn't really
felt
funny at
personally
all.
attacked, to be honest.
I thought it was annoying. I was like, okay, we get the pun. Like the pun jokes in Chibi are just not funny. They were, in my opinion, I don't think I ever thought they were funny.
I thought
And
the
there
dad
was-
jokes one was kind of funny, but after that it was just like, bleh.
Yeah. I mean, Ty for the most part is not funny in Chibi. The only reason he was even funny in this season at all was because of the girls. The girls were the funny part of, and
Every
Crow were the
season.
funny part of his only funny skit in this season.
Yeah.
Ty
It
is
feels
just
like their whole joke with
not funny.
like they have two jokes with Ty. Either he's just Yang but grown up, or he's not as cool as Crow.
Yep.
Like
And it's
those
like,
are the two
that's
jokes
not
that they
that
have about him.
Yeah, that's not that funny.
Yeah.
So this one this one wasn't funny at all to me.
And it kind of makes me feel bad for Ty. It's like, you need to do something in Volume 6, man.
He's an adult man who wears shorts. Okay, you
There's
just
nothing
can't
wrong
do
with
that.
shorts.
There's nothing wrong with shorts whenever you've been married, you've been divorced once, and then you're now a widower, and your kids are running around fighting monsters. The short shorts just grow off of you at that point.
No, but
What?
he's trying to be cool though. That's my point. If he
Shorts
was
are
just
cool.
like,
Actually,
Yeah.
if
that's
he just
Mr. Joey.
completely didn't care, then it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. And to be fair, like, I don't know. A lot of times all you really have to do, sometimes all you have to do for like, yeah, a lot of his funniest jokes are him reacting to his daughters, but at the same time, that's also pretty funny. Is watching it is like just watching, listening to Bernie react to his daughters and stuff like that.
But anyway, I didn't find this skit funny at all. At least.
Yeah. The next episode is Girls' Night Out, which I've seen twice, and I don't remember a single thing about it.
Yeah, I can't remember anything about that.
I
don't
remember
know
they
what
burned
happened.
the city down. They burned the building down at the end.
Yeah, they burned the nightclub down, and then John and them are butt mad
It's just
because they get
another
left out again.
John and Ren are more feminine than the actual girls joke.
Yeah, which I'm kind of bored of that joke too. Like they've done that before with especially Jean's. Like, all right, how many times do we have to do this?
Yeah. And the other skit in that episode is Mercury's Girl, which we already talked about. Doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
never.
it could have been
just kind of left out the line.
Yeah, it could. I think it could have been funny, but it wasn't.
I don't know. I thought Neo was kind of, but yeah, or I don't know. It was. I feel like there was one line where, like about Neo that I thought was kind of funny that he had. I can't remember.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if I'm really creepy or really cute.
Yeah, I'm leaning toward creepy. I did think
Yeah.
funny.
Neo
some
continues
of
to
the
be
stuff
one of the
that he-
best parts of her skits.
Some of the stuff that he said was funny. The problem was that there was no punchline.
Yeah, just the lack of a punchline.
That was the problem. That they just had cringe as the punchline. That's not funny.
Yeah.
Sock was just sad because one of his sock puppets was holocausted at the end of that skit.
We lost a good one today.
Let's see. Next episode is.
Also, I thought I don't know if I'm really curious. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Next episode is Teenage Faunus Ninja Cat Girl, which I want to say was a callback to the very first skit from season 1 with the book.
Yeah.
I just appreciate the title of the episode more than anything.
Yeah, I thought the title is funny, and unfortunately the skit wasn't
Ninja
that funny to
Vanish.
me.
I mean, the only thing I wish.
I think this was the most enjoyable Blake has been in years.
I thought that was
Yeah,
funny,
it's probably the best Blake skit, and I kind of wish that they played up her being a ninja more in the actual show,
Yeah.
because I think it's funny.
I mean, yeah, her
I
saying
ran
Ninja
out of
Vanish.
smoke bombs.
Yeah, her saying Ninja Vanish every time was funny, and I actually like how they used Velvet for like a proper Velvet joke this time. where she's like,
I hear everything.
yeah, where she's like, she apologizes to Blake for hearing something else also, which that was kind of funny. But again, I don't think I actually laughed out loud at all during this. I was just like, oh, that's kind of funny. Oh, that's kind of clever. I'm glad they did that. That was kind of funny.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one
I
of
didn't
those, like,
actually
nice
like
nod.
laugh when I, like again, some of the ones I was talking about from the other seasons, man, I like had to pause from laughing so hard with some of the other ones from the previous seasons. Like I've rewatched Mystery Bunch so many times, and it makes me laugh my fucking ass off every time. Like I laugh out loud every single fucking time I watch that. It's still that funny, and I don't think there's any that really made me do anything like. And this is an example of like this one wasn't bad. Like it was kind of funny, but I didn't laugh out loud at it.
Yeah. Also, it's kind of like, I don't know. She does the whole thing just so she can ask Ruby to return her book. It's like,
Yeah, that's another dumb punchline. Like, it's not ridiculous enough for such a pathetic like thing to be actually funny. Like, you need to make
I feel
it
like the
much
real
bigger.
punchline was I ran out of smoke bombs. I thought that was the real punch. Like,
Yeah.
could have come up with a more creative for her to be talking Ruby.
I mean, it's okay. You get like an extra point if you actually remember that you actually, you know, it's like, oh, you remember that episode where Ruby like borrowed the book and never brought it back. That it's without that, it's just like, wait, what?
Well, and God, that was to talk about that. That was probably my favorite skit in season 1. Was this is filth, freaking smacks Blake outside the head like, can I have my book back? And she's like, later, like I'm going to use this a lot.
Yeah. Also, I did like the line of.
Why are the pages stuck together?
Oh yeah. Also, I did like that. I read all the good parts. Weak. Just like, really?
Yeah.
No.
I like the idea that Ruby's a closet perv.
Oh, that's definitely.
But it is kind of. I don't know. I feel like there were 2 jokes that just didn't belong together in here. One being, you know, like you said, yeah, Ruby being a closet perv, returning Blake's book. The other one being Blake being a ninja and stalking Ruby. But it's like
and
2 kind of funny jokes, but they didn't. But you didn't have to mash them up together like that. You should have just told both jokes.
Yep.
Separately.
So the next skit, the next skit, the other one that's in that episode is the Protege, which is the Cardin one where he's with Torchwick and Neo, and Torchwick and Neo rob like a bank and then like hand the cash off to him it
was the dust shop again.
Yeah, but this time they're actually
it's
stealing
weird,
money.
Like the shopkeeper basically just grunts a bunch. That was kind of like that kind of took me out. I was just like, this is weird, just hearing this old man just grunt and moan a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cardin takes the fall after praising Torchwick and stuff, and Neo holds up a sign that says "Ditch him."
Cardin thinks he's a villain, but really just a bully, and
and a fall guy.
Yeah.
Can I point out that, by the way, in this episode, this is the first episode where Nori shows up and she doesn't do anything, and she's not funny.
Oh yeah, she's just like, oh yeah, Blake.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's episode
she's just there eating cereal and pointing out there because.
Then Pyrrha hadn't shown up either, had she?
That's what I'm saying. They didn't try. They just kept reusing the same characters in this one. Nora's the funniest part of Chibi. Like, she has, in my opinion, the funniest jokes about her. She has the funniest line delivery. Sam Ireland, Sam Ireland and Nora are so suited to Chibi. And they didn't even use her until episode 6. And she doesn't
remember when they had that awesome 4th wall break where coffee
and she doesn't
like,
even do anything.
Sam Ireland? That was amazing.
That was amazing. She doesn't even do anything in this one. She just she's lazy and just lackadaisical and doesn't give a shit. That's the exact opposite of Nora.
Yeah, notice is that Blake's up there.
That was the oh shit, we forgot to put Nora in a Chibi episode. Let's put Nora in a Chibi episode, but have her act like fucking Blake.
Basically, yeah.
Then,
Just another complaint.
the next episode is Mysterious Red Button, which is just completely random. There's no joke. It's just Blake hits the button, fish falls out. Other people hit the button, stuff happens that has nothing to do with anything. It's not like it's not a monkey's paw. It's not consistent. The things that drop only ties back with the character once, and it's the very first time.
Yeah, the annoying thing about it is that it doesn't. The jokes about it, they're so random, and they don't get funnier. The funniest ones are in the beginning with the button.
Yeah, with Blake's eyes going like all starry over the fish, like they do in
Blake's
Volume 3.
Yeah, and the fish.
I think the funniest, or I don't even know. I don't even think it's funny.
To me.
I don't even think it's funny, but the last one
It's
with
just,
with Torchwick when he falls down and then Nia holds up the sign like he's a dum dum, but he's my dum dum.
Yeah, that's cute.
And then she jumps down with him.
Yeah, but that one's not funny. It's just cute. There was none of those that actually made me laugh out loud. I thought the funniest one, the closest thing to an actual funny one, was when Ren like copies himself and he's all happy, and Sean copies himself, and even Sean's copy doesn't like Sean. That was pretty funny.
That's some next level self-deprecating humor.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny, but it still wasn't that funny. The one that I thought was funny was the other one, which was the book joke. The book thing.
Yeah, books fix everything.
Books fix everything.
Which is basically just a funny reading rainbow.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like,
I thought the books fix everything was just the concept of it. It was actually kind of funny, so I kind of liked it. I love how, because it starts off working so perfectly for Ren, and it works perfectly for Yang, but it doesn't, like, the fact that it doesn't work for Blake, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That one I think might have actually made me laugh a little bit.
I love books, but they don't fix everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
You obviously haven't been reading the right ones.
So that one was actually kind of funny. I'll give that one actually I think made me laugh a little bit.
And the next episode again, like I don't think there was any jokes. It was just some cute stuff. You had kids versus adults versus puppies, which was like the vision, like how the adults see the kids, how the kids see the adults, and then how Zwei sees Team RWBY.
That could have been so much funnier. That had, but like the concept of that could have been a lot funnier. Like the idea, like what they actually think about each other. The problem was they just did normal adult and kid stuff. They could have done much more specific jokes to the actual characters, and that could have been really fucking funny. And they didn't do that. They just did dumb shit about like normal, like what adults think of kids and what kids think of adults. Like, that's not funny. Everybody's done that joke.
Yeah.
So that kind of annoyed me.
It was lazy.
Yeah, the best part again, like it's not even a joke. It's when it goes to Zwei, it's like, I give tummy rubs. I'm a good girl. I give all the treats. I'm the best girl. I am a chew toy. I'm Yang. Let's fight.
It's funnier when you repeated it than the first time they actually did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the Weiss's best girl, just because I love Weiss.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it's facts. It's just facts.
Yeah, it is honestly facts at this point. Let's be honest.
And then the other skit in this also doesn't actually have a punchline. It's Fireflies with RWBY and Penny.
You know, I don't even care. That was fucking cute as shit.
RWBY and Penny shipping. That'll get the audience
intensifies.
It was cute. I can't argue the fact that it was cute because
it's Lindsay Jones' favorite ship with RWBY. So.
Yep.
Just make sure not to fist robot girls. It's a good way to lose a hand.
Don't tell me what to do.
Don't tell me how to live my life.
Yeah, it's like fuck you.
Don't tell me how to live my life.
Yeah. Then after that, it went on hiatus for like 2 months. which would be perfect for another 8-episode stretch right there. Like have the second block, not have a break in between the first and second block, and then have a third block with 8 episodes that leads into volume 6. Like I'm telling you, there's episodes that they wrote or had planned that just they never bothered making. Call it conspiratorial. Put that freaking tinfoil fedora on my head. I am convinced that that's what happened.
I think you're right. I do think you're right about that, for being honest. So, yeah.
And then, okay, so when it came back, we had Tea Party, which introduced Klein to the cast. Voiced by
Oh my god, this was so
the
unfunny.
legendary
This was so...
J. Michael Tatum, doing his best. But the jokes didn't land because they had to make everyone else out of character in order to make the joke.
This was so annoying. It was so unfunny in every way. Oh my gosh, this is like the example of like why this is not a funny season. This was terrible. I thought this was like really, it was cringy and not even a try hard way. It was just okay. They're just doing the thing where he's the 7 Doors. Are they gonna do something funny off of that? Oh no, it's literally the whole joke is he's just
the 7 Dwarves.
That's not.
It was more of an insult to him. To be honest.
They didn't do any jokes to it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
like not only that, but the punchline ended up being like, "Man, I'd like to meet him," and Pierre's like, "You already have," because they
so
changed the, like, since when is RWBY narcoleptic? Since when is Nora a stoner? I guess Blake was pretty accurate. I guess with the more like bashful.
Like, are we now?
Is Winter actually mean, or is she just expecting a lot out of her younger sister?
Or something like that. He can pass on the emotions to others or something. I don't know. But yeah. No.
Yeah. And the next.
Either way, it wasn't funny.
The next skit is Leisurely Stroll of Doom. Which one was that? What happened there?
That's the one where Ruby spends a day with Crow.
Bad luck. Oh yeah, bad luck. And
so
it's
here's
like,
my problem with
it's like that. It's like that one bit from that South Park episode where I think it's I think it's I think it's Jimmy gives it to Timmy to try killing him, and it's just like that 5 seconds stretched out for like a minute and a half.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know. So it's like my bit. I don't know. Like.
This is also super unfunny.
I know it's Chibi and it's not canon and blah blah blah, but it's like okay, it like first of all, like this does kind of give us that good example though of
how did RWBY not know his semblance going into Volume 4?
Yeah, exactly. Crow trained RWBY to be Crow trained RWBY and stuff like that for years, and somehow she never figured out his semblance, and somehow she got out of it alive. Like,
yeah. Well, again, that just it's more proof of how stupid the idea of his semblance is. Because I remember how mad we were when we first found out what his semblance was, and we're like, that can't be a fucking.
Didn't they recently say that? Which is bullshit, but
what did they say?
Which is a bullshit retcon, but
you cut out.
Yeah, you cut out.
You cut out. You didn't say what they said.
Didn't they recently say that something can actually turn off and on, which is a bullshit retcon, but it would probably be for the better?
If that's true, it's for the better. I don't care if it's a retcon at this point. It's for the better if that's true.
Yeah. But it's still a bullshit retcon. But so it's like so like you watch this thing and you're just like, how did RWBY survive being trained by this guy? Having being taken under the wing of this guy and stuff like that. How did she survive?
All it does is just bring more issues into the actual show instead of being funny.
Kind of, yeah. And it's just a bunch of Looney Tunes humor, but
yeah. So next is Prank War, which I liked. Emerald and Mercury have a prank war. A lot of the pranks aren't funny. Cinder's reaction, however, is at the end. I like Cinder in this skit.
Which one was this? Prank
The-
party? Prank
yeah,
war?
Prank War. This is
Oh,
the one. This is
God.
the one with the Winter Maiden.
This one is probably the most foreshadowing for the next volume. It actually, I did enjoy the prank war skit quite a bit because it's just like increasing levels of escalation, which ends with Mercury being set on fire.
Yeah, that was all right, but again, it wasn't super funny. Like the thing is, like relative to the season, yeah, it was better than a lot of them, but did it really make anybody like laugh really hard?
I do like how it kind of points out like one of I think Cinder's big character flaws is that she just gets too caught up in shit. Like she doesn't know how to let go. It's like, man, maybe this would have turned out better if I wasn't lusting after Ruby, or maybe this.
Don't get this started.
Cinder falls on track.
Oh no.
Then the other skit in this episode is Sailor Jean, which was funny 25 years ago when South Park made this joke, and when The Simpsons made this joke, and then when Family Guy made this joke, and Robot Chicken made this joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't find.
And then
either of those...
Deadpool kind of also joke. But...
Yeah, the reaction from Cinder was kind of fun. Still didn't laugh. Like this is the thing. Like yeah, we can say these are kind of funny, but the thing is, in the past season, like I would actually laugh out loud, a lot, and I'm not laughing at all at these.
Like
really.
What was the last season that we had the Cinder joke where Cinder fell down the stairs and all those other like play on like
I
Cinder's
think
name?
that was actually
Plays on
season
Cinder
1. I think that was
the
season
fun-
1.
That was.
I don't care. Whatever season that was, those actually made me laugh out loud.
Wasn't that a fan thing too?
Yeah, it was a fan comic at first
Yeah.
that they
Hey,
adapted.
fine. It still made me laugh out loud.
Again, like
They
season
just needed to
season 1 especially had like an entire team of writers making their own sketches with the characters, coming up with jokes, coming up with different types of jokes, different types of punchlines, different types of comedy sketches, whereas this is just really monotonous, and it's a lot of these jokes are jokes from previous seasons, and they're getting old.
You know what? I think the thing is, I think what the problem is with Chibi now, and it's not Tom's fault. There's no jokes left to tell with these characters. They've made all of the self-referential humor that they can make now.
Again, yeah. I think they.
Why they need to bring in some new characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think.
Like, how funny would it be to have Raven show up and I don't know.
I was gonna try saving this for the end. I doubt there's going to be a season 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I have my doubts that a season 4 will exist, and if it does, it'll be with like the new costumes and stuff, and like Piero will be canonically dead. They'll replace her with like you'll get Chibi Oscar, Chibi Tyrion,
no.
Chibi Hazel.
Okay, Chibi Tyrion might be worth Chibi Oscar.
Yeah.
I honestly want Chibi Raven, which I feel.
Chibi Raven, Chibi
He got some
Vernal.
funny jokes there, like tempestuous relation, her and Yang.
Chibi
Ruby's like a
Callie,
reminder
who might make it all worth it.
Oh
Where
god,
you
Chibi
going
Callie.
to
Ty
get
Ying's
cigarettes?
girlfriend or something like that. It's just like you got a bunch of funny.
Oh
jokes.
god, if they made a Raven getting joke with Ty, that would be even funnier than the Nora jokes. That would be the best. That would be the fun. Even if I know what they would do, what that joke would be, it would still probably be the funniest joke ever. From Chibi,
Yeah,
if they
but
made a
that's
Raven getting
if
cigarettes
season
joke.
4 exists, and
Yeah,
it
won't.
really depends on like how the viewerships on these episodes are.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they don't like canceling shows, but they have done it before. They did straight up cancel Sex Swing before its first season was even done.
Yep.
Because it was so abysmal.
I mean,
That was the worst thing ever. Holy shit.
I don't count X-Ray Vav because that team just went on to do something else. They went on to make Camp. So they just like kind of put X-Ray Vav out to pasture because they wanted to do something else.
And also, I don't know. If
they're smart enough not to have that team work on 2 shows at the same time. RWBY Genlock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, they did.
Also, Camp is better than X-Ray and Vav.
yes.
Yeah.
X-Ray and Vav was
I
not
mean,
that
to
good.
be fair, like Rooster did actually go through a period where they did like, I don't know, cancel.
I mean, they
Like, not
keep. I mean,
necessarily
they keep.
mid-season,
They
but
keep
did have
dragging.
that whole- like they did have a period where like their basic, their whole what was it? Like business strategy was basically throw ideas at the wall that is your audience and see what sticks. But yeah.
I mean, they keep freaking dragging Red versus Blue's decrepit corpse out every year
Ugh.
for another
Does that still
20
exist?
episodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Has
Oh, wow.
season
I didn't know
16?
Season season 16 ended several months ago.
Huh.
They were actually counting down to it longer than they were counting down to the premiere. They, like after the 5th episode, they were like, 15 more episodes left. Catch the finale in 4 months.
I did not even watch anything past like the 2nd episode, not gonna lie.
I refuse to dignify season 16 with an actual response, other than
I don't watch. Any...
other than just a gas of like the fact that it exists.
I didn't even know it was out until it had its finale, and I was like, it's no point. They didn't advertise it at all.
Yeah.
I still cannot.
Just probably evidence that you
Now,
just want to be done with it.
keep in mind that I did not hate the Chorus trilogy, unlike media, and but even so, I do not understand why they didn't end the show once they killed the director.
I mean, I didn't even hate season 15. I thought season 15 was like a step in the right direction, but that right direction is ending. Like, be done with it. Like, season 15 had a decent ending, and it had like the kind of ending that Red versus Blue at this point kind of deserves to go out on, and then they just kept on walking right off that cliff.
Yeah. Or at the very least, just do anthology episodes. There's still a lot of things that people want to see after like even after season 14. There were still a bunch of like things from like the past and of these characters that people wanted to see. They wanted to see how York and Carolina met. Dang it! But...
I don't care about them. I never really cared much for York. Anyway, back to Chibi season 3. So, next skit we have In the Clutches of Evil, which is one of the better skits of this season.
Yes, this one was actually pretty funny.
And
yeah, again, Pyrrha
Pyrrha getting all thirsty, the Red Huntress, and
he'll never be able to leave me alone.
I still don't think this made me laugh out loud, though. I gotta say, I'm just saying, I really don't think.
It was more of an Arcos thing.
But again, this is like the most we shows up at the end. Someone had a good night.
Yeah, Nora shows up at the end. Also just like Torchwick and Neo's part, and how they like go through all of this for Jean.
And Jean just it's like, don't worry, the machine's starting up. It's just slowly starting to rev up more and more. I kind of
want to see what this thing does before I escape. You have my undivided attention. I do.
That was pretty funny.
Now, the other skit in this episode I thought was really clever. It just wasn't funny because there was no actual punchline.
Yeah, that was the thing. It's not funny,
put it in reverse, which is something we can all relate to, learning how to drive. But also, it's a pun because they do the Memento thing where the scenes are backwards. Like, did you guys realize, like, they have the last scene at the beginning and then the first scene at...
Tarantino thing?
Yeah, well, Memento.
Well, it's not Quentin Tarantino, because Quentin Tarantino is out of order.
But
yeah.
More the, Memento type of thing, yeah.
Yeah, they put the skit in reverse. I thought that was a really clever way to put that skit together. Too bad there just wasn't an actual punchline beyond Ruby can't drive.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, I can imagine Foot being like, how she is kind of a speed demon and stuff like that in reality.
I just didn't find it. It just didn't make me. It wasn't funny at all. Again, like, where's the joke?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next episode is Juniper Dreams. I think this is the weakest of the 3 Dream episodes.
Or it's just like, Red, fill me full of your pancakes.
Yeah.
Well,
God,
and-
why
and
did they
then-
make a
and
joke
just-
like that? See, that's funnier. High Powered making that joke funnier than the actual jokes in the fucking thing.
I was very confused on Ren, so I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. And then I was just like, are they just saying he just does not relax ever? He dreams of relaxing? That's it?
Yeah, and then, like,
Still makes no sense.
Pyrrha's made sense. But Pyrrha's made sense in the way that, like, it could have actually just been a scene in the actual show. Like her imagining or fantasizing or something about, like, her and Jean fighting Grimm together.
See, I would have been fine with that, but it's just like, the thing about Pyrrha is just, it's always just her and John. It's never her as a character.
Well, that is her character. That's the whole point.
I know, that's the problem.
Yeah, this show really does put a lot of the, like, flaws in RWBY on full blast. Then, like, what was even going on with Jean's dream? I know, like,
I don't
the
know.
turning broccoli into ice cream or whatever. I didn't get that. I didn't get what that had to do with Jean as a character.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm pretty sure it's
Dream
because they
sequence-
realized
Dream
like,
sequences
normally
are
what is
so narratively interesting because you can do so much with it without, like, because you don't have to follow logic. You don't have to follow, like, a storytelling logic. You just have to. It's a really good way to flesh
Shit
out the
just happens.
characters with like this esocentric this I'm blanking on the word. But like a really artistic way of, like, showing what's going on in a character's mind. Like I don't know why this was the first thing that came to my mind was the Spider-Man animated series from the 90s had a dream sequence during the Venom episodes. When like right after, like, Spider-Man got the symbiote suit. And he has a dream of, like, the symbiote suit fighting the actual spider suit. And they're, like, giant and they're looming over him and they're fighting each other. And then, like, that was a really cool way of showing, like, this struggle between, like, wanting the power and wanting the responsibility that Peter Parker was going through in those episodes. That was the big theme in that episode. Whereas here it's just random.
Yeah.
It was more about John wanting to feel important and that's, just not put down a lot by his failing.
Like, is the Nora dream any different than some of the Nora sketches that have actually happened?
No, it's not. And it's
Not
less funny than all of them too.
Yeah, that was same thing with the Ren thing. The thing about these skits is that, other than the Pyrrha and Jean ones, which were just, like, so different than what would normally happen, and this goes with the RWBY dreams as well. Not so much with Nefarious dreams, but this goes with the RWBY dreams as well. That they don't change the logic. They still adhere to the same logic that all the normal sketches in Chibi adhere to.
yeah. So
Like,
it's like
there's no difference. So what's the
point?
point of making them dreams?
Yeah. Makes me think
Yeah.
about, like, I don't know, when people used to theorize that Chibi was all one big dream going on in Ruby's head, trying to deal with, like, I don't know, the horrors of what happened after
dumb
1-3.
theory.
But that's
I
a
mean,
theory
yeah,
that happens in, like,
It is
every
dumb,
show.
But
I
it's
like
kind of
that
the same
theory.
thing. It's like you're gonna have a bunch of dream sequences in a thing that basically is just a bunch of dream sequences.
Yeah. And then in the same episode we had Crow, where Crow tries turning into a bird and his head doesn't transform and he has to go to Ozpin for help, and Ozpin's, like, really flippant with him, and it's just Carrie Shawcross taking the piss. It's probably my favorite sketch of the entire season, but we've already talked about that.
I get the feeling that they expect us to think that this is what went down with the whole, I don't know, Raven beginning to resent Ozpin for this one thing. Like, they probably expect us to think that this is how it went down, but it's like, they can still turn into birds at will. This is not something to be upset about, but anyway.
Yeah.
I thought it's another one where
If it
it's
was involuntary, if it was, permanent, then it would be like, okay, I get what they're upset about, but they're not.
Yeah.
That's
one of
I
those ones
still
that-
think it's just an aura soul thing that they don't like people tampering with that kind of stuff.
I still think it's another one that like it's kind of funny, but not that funny. Did anybody again? I didn't laugh out loud at this one either.
I maybe laughed at one thing this entire season. Most of
Yeah,
it was
it's
just,
like-
smirks or just the offhand comment, just like the offhand shit, Like
And that's
that wasn't punchline.
and I know I'm sounding really negative, but I just had to pointing that out because we said this isn't a good season, but we're not being super negative really on any of these, on most of them at least. And we're like, oh yeah, but this one's kind of funny. This one's kind of funny. But when we say kind of funny, like compared to previous Chibi, kind of funny still makes you get.
This was hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and these were some of them were just absolutely fucking hilarious. And none of these were fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the next episode we had Cousins of Chaos, the biker episode.
Sons of Anarchy.
With Son.
I don't wash my hands whenever I leave the restroom. Oh shit, we got a real bad guy right here, man.
Real rebel.
Ren with the library book.
I may or may
What
not.
did Neptune do?
Neptune things.
I'm trying to
I'm
remember.
probably
I'm trying
like
to
I
remember
haven't
what the
showered
deal was
in
with him.
weeks.
I flirt with anyone with a skirt.
Oh, he went through the 15 items or less checkout with 20 items.
Oh, we've all done that before.
Yeah.
Or right? It's not
Yes.
just me.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I've done it. I've done it.
Well, it's real easy for me to do it because I like, roll up and then like you got more items and I pull out my gun. It's like you better check out.
That was funnier than
Hold on
anything
now.
in Chibi season 3.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
This episode also okay. With this one especially, I have to talk about the release schedule. Well, with Chibi with how Chibi season 3 and how a lot of their shows are right now, because they're trying to like get off of YouTube because of YouTube's BS, and I totally back them on that. But their website is but the Rooster Teeth website is also kind of a cluster, just disaster, and so they ended up releasing the second block of Chibi on YouTube anyway. But when they do, they cut out the credits and they put advertisements for Nomad of Nowhere instead, in the ending banner, with the like really generic music. So that made it harder to like take notes on, because I like to watch the credits. I like to see like who wrote these skits, who's responsible for this. But at the same time, like this one, the funniest thing in this episode is the credits. If you don't watch it on the website, you miss out on the funniest thing, which is Michael Jones singing a Cousins of Chaos theme song out of pitch.
That was actually funny.
Out of pitch, and it's like he's ad-libbing it the entire time.
Yes, that actually made me laugh out loud. That actually made me laugh. I forgot about that. That was funny as fuck.
Cousins of Chaos, we're gonna.
That was actually funny. The problem is, though, that wasn't a skit. I almost guaranteed that was just Michael being funny. Because Michael's actually funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so, like, you miss out on that if you watch it on YouTube. You also miss out on a lot of, like, the Chibi scores, which I like the Chibi scores. Especially, like, from Season 1 with like, the 8-bit Red Like Roses Part 2, which I still use in, like, a lot of my videos when I need a minute or so of audio, of music audio as a backtrack to pad things out, to pad out that track. And yeah, the other skit in this episode, was all right. Don't Pet the Grim with the rhyming.
Dr. Seuss thing. Yeah.
Yeah, which they totally ruin at the end with a stupid. I refuse to call it a punchline because it wasn't funny. It was an anti-joke. Where they're just like, stop rhyming. Just like, why? That was what made the skit kind of clever at first. Yeah, the joke is that like Penny wants a pet Grim, but Osmond's like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, is very, I don't know, is again just exaggerated. Penny doesn't get, understand danger and stuff like that, but.
Yeah. Next episode was Nefarious Dreams. I don't remember I remember the Cinder one. I remember I liked the Cinder one. I don't remember what the other ones had.
Another Cinder's in love with me thing.
Yeah.
Mercury's
yeah, the foot massage.
Also
that was cringe.
You don't have feet.
Oh, and I remember Emeralds too. Like you're the mother I may not have had.
Yeah, that was actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
I think I might have actually giggled at that. In fairness, I'll admit, I think I giggled at the you're the daughter the mother daughter kind of senpai thing. That was actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
Also, although I had to.
Cinders was actually super.
You just want someone to massage his.
I like to think with the Cinder one, it was like Volume 2 Cinder, Volume 3 Cinder, Volume 4 Cinder, and then Chibi Cinder.
The thing is, I didn't find the Cinder one funny at all.
I finally got some good help though.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I feel like when I don't know. This is what got me thinking about like Mercury's anatomy and stuff like that. Like this, he probably would have to take his mechanical legs off when he goes to bed normally, right? And probably would actually want someone to give them a little rub and stuff like that. They probably get sore wearing those things all day.
Yeah,
we don't
probably.
know how they're we don't know how they're like, if they're like grafted into his body, or if they're just like, how our kind of like our society
just suction cupped on.
Yeah, like I forget the term, but yeah, it's like we don't know if they're grafted on or if they're just like they're just there.
This is like auto mail. Yeah.
Yeah, like is it auto mail?
Oh god, I'm remembering he's shoving a flathead into a Phillips screw, and a small part of me died.
Who cares?
It'd be like shoving a Torx head into an Allen key. Machinist woes.
I know.
Yeah, and then the next skit is Ty's Escape.
I thought that was kind of, I don't know.
The escape room thing was something from season 2.
It was, yeah, because he like failed. No, it was Yang just punched her way out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I kind of like the idea too, where Ty's like, I just need a break from my crazy daughters.
Yeah.
I mean, I can relate to that.
Although technically in canon, they're at school all the time, and you never see them. So.
That's still not enough of a break.
Yeah.
He's like, I just want to mow my lawn and sip my monster.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Hang out with the dog. Yeah.
And so the next skit was Play with Penny, which was we talked about this earlier. It was the one with the silver-eyed reference. There's like a giant monster or whatever, and then Penny takes it down so that Ruby will play with her.
I got a small chuckle out of Yang because that's just me, and why I love you.
I hit it.
I'm gonna punch it. I'm just gonna punch it. No regrets.
Yeah, that was kind of funny because it's playing off of good stuff they did earlier in the season too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in that same episode we have Life Hacks, which is another Oobleck reading Rainbow the More You Know skit.
Yeah. Which was I just like Weiss's. Yeah, he's not coming down for a while.
Yeah, that both of those were pretty like non-skits. They didn't actually have punchlines. The next skit or the next episode was Ruby Dreams.
Yeah, there was also Animal one.
Oh yeah. The
The third
Play with
one was
Penny is the one that
Harden,
had the
where
3 skits.
he's just being a bullying, and then face. Which,
Yeah.
It's another. Yeah, the first joke was just Klein has a bunch of personalities again.
Yeah,
Are we gonna do something?
that was a tough customer, and that was in.
Are we
the
gonna
Ruby
do something
Dreams
clever with
episode.
that? No, we're not. We're just gonna. He just has a bunch of personalities, and that's supposed to be funny.
Because people with schizophrenia are funny.
Yeah, it wasn't funny.
No,
at
I'm
all.
not. I'm not a freaking gonna
I'm
get
pretty sure
butthurt
people are
over
listening
something
knowing
like
you're saying
that.
this.
But I'm surprised that a lot of the people in the Rooster Teeth office thought that was like okay. I think it's okay, but you know, there's people who don't like people making jokes about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, with RWBY Dreams, I
Poor
only
Weiss.
remember Ruby's dream.
Weiss
Yeah.
is basically more of like a nightmare. They're like you learned everything. She's like, no, I want to learn. I forget Blake's, but I know Yang's was like about was like just her just point.
They're not super
Right?
not funny.
Yeah, it was just like, yeah, screw you guys. I'm gonna do what I want. Gets on her motorcycle. It's got rainbows on it,
Again,
she's
like
flying on
what
it.
was that any different than like a normal Yang skit in Chibi?
Yeah.
Why did it have to be like the only one that had to be a dream was Ruby's because because she ran into the other character model.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was funny.
I find it funny that they used the poser one for that one.
Did
No,
they use the poser?
they used
They
the
used
one
the
from the
old-
Yang
old
from the
outfit.
no, they used the model
yeah.
from the Yang trailer last year.
You see, this last episode feels like this was literally they were like, okay, we're not doing any more episodes, so they were like, well, we're gonna like throw this in there, and that's we're just gonna fucking call it a day.
That one was pretty funny to me, though. I thought.
Yeah, no, I actually liked it whenever other normal Ruby shows up in it. But like it's just a bummer because like we didn't get the normal ending to the volume where it's like panning away to like how they're all standing on a set or whatever.
Yeah. That one was that one was funny at least though. I thought it wasn't again, but not super funny. I didn't like laugh. It's like, oh, that's kind of funny. Yeah. Ruby's making fun of her chibi self. She thinks it's cute. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, it's something.
But
people
where's
wanted.
like the super hilarious part?
It's something people wanted, but it just didn't hit.
Yeah, it's funny. And it's not bad, but nothing.
Yeah, I
made me, like,
remember
laugh
early
my
on,
ass
like
off.
in season 1, there was like a fan comic where regular Ruby and Chibi Ruby like switched places.
I know what you're talking about.
Yep, I know that comic.
And regular Ruby like grabs Chibi, Weiss, Blake, and Yang and just like holds them, and then Chibi Ruby's just sitting on like the bed, just eating a cookie, staring at these giants in front of her.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be an interesting little episode, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
again, the fact is that
just
you're coming up with some better stuff than the actual like company. That's a lot.
yeah. So this season it suffered from a lack of new characters, a lack of new jokes, a lack of like comedic stylings,
Yeah.
a lack of punchlines,
Yeah. I think that's the big thing.
a lack of effort,
anything really
a lack
new.
of effort, a lack of like the people obviously caring. Like I'm sure they cared about this. I mean, I can't be sure that they cared about this. Is the thing, because that passion it doesn't show. It doesn't show in this season like it did in the previous 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like the stuff like that, you can tell that despite like RWBY Volume 1's problems, that Monty and the others, they like really cared about it and really put in the effort. You could tell that in Volume 2. You could tell that in Volume 3. You can even tell that in Volume 4. You can't tell that in Volume 5. You can tell that in Chibi Season 1 and Chibi Season 2. You can't tell that in Chibi Season 3. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that they want to keep RWBY Chibi going. I'm not convinced that they even want to make more episodes.
Yeah.
I don't think they do at this point.
And again, like if they do, they'll change the time period. They'll do the like Volume 4 onward designs and have like characters that got introduced later on, like Hazel and Tyrion, Oscar, Ilya. Oh man,
Yeah.
the possibilities with Chibi Ilya.
Yes.
All the shipping jokes, just throw them at Ilya. She's like,
Just
all these...
have that Kitty Kirishima picture. They're like, there's so many cute girls.
Yes, exactly.
That picture's great. Yeah, I've got nothing else to say. I already said that, like, I doubt they'll make a season 4. If they do, it'll be completely different, hopefully. It's the wells run dry. They've said every joke that they could have with this cast of characters at this point in time.
Yep.
I mean, I would say they just need more writers, but I mean, we've already been embarking that for the actual main story.
Yeah. This season
got,
also
like,
had a
one
new
comedian.
director. I'm blanking on their name though. Because the first 2 seasons were actually directed by Carrie, and this one was directed by someone completely new, so that Carrie could focus on RWBY.
Which is good. I will take this season of Chibi being garbage if the next volume of RWBY is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man.
So I like that
we
idea
got
of them doing that.
We got a lot to talk about next week, because next week we'll also be doing like our final. That'll be the. I'm pretty sure. Let me check. Yeah, because next week is the last podcast we'll be doing before Volume 6 actually starts.
Yep.
And we
So-
may
so
or may
we'll
not
be-
have a special guest for that podcast.
For the
Next
Volume
week's?
6
Or
premiere.
you mean the beginning
Yeah,
of Volume
yeah, no,
6?
no,
For
no,
the Volume 6 premiere.
No, we can't say that while I'm recording. High Powered and I will tell you guys when I in the podcast, which I think we're ready. I think we're ready to wrap things up.
Now, before we wrap things up,
Anyone got any other final thoughts and scores?
If we're gonna go on a 10 scale, I have to give this a 2 because I have to get.
Oh,
it's,
wow.
offhand.
That's way worse than what I was gonna go with.
Well, no, like okay, 1 for it's just being RWBY related because I do love RWBY, but and 2 for like just the jokes did not hit, and the ones that like did weren't even the main part of it. It was just like it's like a footnote. And it was very like hit or miss. It's like you're hitting the broadside of a board and you're like chipping it. It's not enough. So I'd give it a 2.
I was gonna say 2 as well. It's not. I didn't laugh. I think I laughed out loud once. I think the hardest I laughed was at Michael doing his ad lib song, which wasn't part of the sketch. If that's the funniest part, that's pretty pathetic. Especially considering how hilarious parts of seasons 1 and 2 are. I mean, seriously funny shit from those. Like, not even just for Rooster Teeth, like by Chibi standards, or even Rooster Teeth standards. Like I still will remember some really funny stuff from those seasons. No, when they do the investigation of Nora and Nora turns it on Neptune.
Yes.
And then she puts the mustache on. Oh my fucking god, that was so hilarious.
Yeah. Well, it just goes back to
There's
the thing.
there's nothing on that level. You know what? I'm done. I'm gonna go watch that skit. I'm gonna go watch the Mystery Bunch to take my mind off how bad the other season was.
Robert or High Powered, any final thoughts?
It's not really a final
It's all
thought,
been said.
but I want to make an announcement. So, media, I hope you put this in the description of the video.
Is this the email?
This is the email.
Okay,
So
okay.
I have made the amazing idea of creating an email, which is obviously not original, where you, the viewers, can email us questions, and there is a chance that we will read them. So
Yeah,
the email is
I'll put it in the description, and I'll also pin a comment in the comment section.
yes, but the email name
because people don't read descriptions.
yes is Ruby RWBY and beyond at gmail.com, and beyond is
Yeah.
spelled normal,
Yeah.
and that's the email.
Yeah, you can
So
email us, and we'll spend a few minutes each podcast answering questions and whatnot.
Yep.
So
we wonder why we haven't done this before, but we're doing it now.
Well,
I never even thought about this, but somebody thought about it.
Yeah, it was High Powered's idea.
Good idea, High
I
Powered.
mean, we the thing is, I read every single comment, and so I usually just answer the stuff in the comment section there. But it would be nice to actually like talk
unload
about
that burden upon the rest of us
Yeah.
lazy motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Called out.
I mean, I don't like get enough comments on any video yet to like not have the time to do it. But anyway, my final thoughts on the season are, okay, it was watchable, so it's not a 1 out of 10. There were things I liked, so it's not a 2 out of 10. I go with I'd go with like a 4 or 5 out of 10. Probably a 4 out of 10 because there were more skits that I didn't like than there were that I did kind of like.
I'm
but yeah,
in the same boat with
laugh
media.
no laugh out loud moments, so I can't go any higher than a 5.
Is this the first time Sock's been more negative than media?
Maybe.
Considering I'm the guy that was mostly positive about RWBY.
Yeah, that's why that's like
Maybe.
yeah.
Yep.
This might be the first time.
I have to give it straight for Chibi.
So proud of you, Sock. So proud of you.
Well, it's like almost impossible for a movie to get like a 1 out of 10 for me.
Oh, I wouldn't give it a 1. Maybe
Yeah.
a 3 is more accurate because it kind of made me giggle
Like-
a couple times, but I
like,
can't give it above a 3.
To
I
put
can't
it
because it doesn't do what it set out to achieve.
So with my grading scale, I actually use DC movies to like show like what each step is. So like a 1 out of 10 is a Catwoman, a 2 out of 10 is a Superman 4, a 3 out of 10 is Batman and Robin, a 4 out of 10 is Batman v Superman, a 5 out of 10 is Suicide Squad, a 6 out of 10 is like a Man of Steel, a 7 out of 10 is like Dark Knight Rises, 8 out of 10 is like the Batman Begins, or like 9 out of 10 is like Superman 2, the first 2 Superman movies, and then 10 out of 10 is Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
Where does
Yeah.
Superman Returns fall on that?
6 out of 10.
Okay, that's fair.
I just feel like the humor was more like Carlos Mencia telling Gabriel Iglesias jokes.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't
That's
watch
funny.
Carlos Mencia, so I don't
He's
really.
the guy.
Yeah, I don't.
He's
I
that
don't
guy.
watch him.
And Gabriel Iglesias is actually fun.
I've
Yeah.
seen Gabriel
Well,
Iglesias.
Carlos
I've
is
seen
funny, but he's like-
I've
he's
seen
like-
Fluffy, or like
Yeah, Fluffy.
yeah.
I've seen
I'm
Cloud.
not
That's
fat. I'm
Gabriel.
not fat. I'm
Almost.
Fluffy. I've
I've
seen
seen
that.
all
I've
his
seen that
specials.
stand up routine.
Carlos did used to be funny in the beginning.
But like,
Just
they're
forget-
totally like Carlos is more like racially
Yeah.
driven, and
Mhm.
while Gabriel is more like he talks about like parenting, touring, visiting people, and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
This is
actually
the
really
other
funny.
big one. I saw one of the other big Hispanic
big-
comedians, George Lopez.
Oh,
George
I
Lo-
saw,
I know how.
I saw him in concert, and that was actually pretty good.
But anyway, so anyone got anything to plug?
Check out my fan. Oh, yeah, RWBY 2020. I haven't been able to make any additions to it recently, but I did manage to finish with
Yeah.
My rewrite of Volume
RWBY
1,
2020 is Robert rewriting RWBY with the benefit of hindsight.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically like, I don't know. Yeah. It's like, what if Gray was doing his job and actually, asking those questions that the audience was definitely going to ask and stuff like that. And
He was too busy
I don't
floating
know,
the
just
body.
looking back at it with some hindsight and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm working on, I need to work on writing better. yeah, I think it's turning out pretty good. So
Yeah, you just finished up volume 1 too.
yep.
Yeah. Dude or high powered, you got things to plug?
Nah, I don't got anything. Email us and stuff.
I'm starting to work on the fan fiction again. I promise.
Yeah.
I will get more
Yay.
chapters out. I may or may not be writing Smut 2. That's unconfirmed.
High power. You smut. No. Where's the thought?
Yeah, join the Discord if you want like a live play-by-play on some of our writing processes.
Or if you want to influence our writing process,
yeah, if
that's
wanna,
a good way too.
I'm very impressionable when it comes to my writing.
Cinder falls on track.
Yes. Freaking the entire Just Act series. Is
you're
freaking
welcome.
high powered
Thank you,
influence on me.
Thank you, Howard.
So speaking of my fanfiction, RWBY On is getting ready to go into its final arc. I have 30 more chapters to write, and then it's done.
And I keep mocking media the entire time. This volume's gonna come out, it's gonna be good, and you're just gonna get drugged right back in.
No, I refuse.
There's no escape.
I'm so looking forward to it ending so that I can work on original works. Other than that, join the Discord, join the Facebook group. Email us questions or comments, and we'll get around to those in the next podcast. Do I have anything else to plug? Oh, like, comment, and subscribe on my YouTube channel. I'm at like 2,500 subscribers now.
I think you start making more videos again.
Yeah. Yeah, and I appreciate everyone who has subscribed and actually watches my content, because my last couple of videos have gotten less views than my subscriber numbers, and I'm wondering why.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know what the hell happened. I was confused by that.
I mean, I know YouTube doesn't like putting videos that people are subscribed to in their subscription feed because they're dumb. But so if I don't even know if I have a notification bell or if that's something I have to unlock. If there's a notification bell by the subscribe, hit that so that you'll get so that you'll for sure be notified of my videos when they come out. I say that knowing that podcasts generally only get like 1,000 or so views. And who's gonna watch it all the way up to the end? Yeah. So until next time when we talk about the Volume 5 soundtrack and other Volume 5 news, thanks for watching.
Later.
Bye.